Hello, my name is Eli, and today my friends and myself we're talking to you about the fruits of the Spirit and how we have experienced them in high school. And to make sure we're all on the same page, Galatians 5:22 through 23 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." Today I'll be talking to you about love and how I've experienced it in high school. This is not the lovey, kissy, Hollywood type love. This is like a golden rule type of love where you recognize that you have issues and needs, and so in knowing that you are not perfect, you try to be the best person you can be to other people so that they will want to be around you and get to know you so you can develop lasting, meaningful relationship with them to help yourself out and also help them out because helping other people is also very fulfilling and what we're called to do as Christians. And where I have noticed love the most in my high school experience is with friends. Me personally, I'm a very introverted person, and because of that, I don't initiate conversations very much. So I don't know very many people, and I don't get to know very many people usually. But thankfully, several people during my 4 years in high school took the time to get to know me, either during just lunch, class, extracurricular activities, sometimes even like work. They get to know me, offer me help, work together, and then those connections would become better, and we hang out outside of school and just talk about whatever. And it's because of that that I try to be a very friendly and understanding person to people who don't get a lot of attention or get a lot of negative attention, because I understand what it's like to be in their shoes and it's not great. And if I can offer them anything that would help them out, I try to offer them that. And I think a good person in high school that you will encounter, if you haven't already, is Mrs. Jansen. Mrs. Jansen embodies love very well. Now, you're probably a little confused because she's known for being a little fiery, but she is that way because she is doing her best to help make us better students. Good students understand how to research and um, come to an understanding of what they don't understand. And students ask a lot of questions in her class because it's algebra, it's confusing. And so she rewards people who ask good questions, and people who haven't looked in notes, textbook enough, don't know what they're talking about. She doesn't answer their questions because she's trying to help them out by loving them and preparing them for later education. And now Jacob will talk to you about joy.
Hey guys, my name is Jacob McIntyre, and I'll be talking to you today about joy, the second fruit of the Spirit. Joy is more than just happiness. Happiness is, I know when you think of joy, you might think of things that make you happy, like riding a bike or playing Fortnite or playing basketball, whatever. But joy is something that comes from God. And I want to talk to you today about that because as you're going into high school, you're going to want to rely on God for joy. Because as you go into high school, I already know you guys because I was once an 8th grader. I know that you're experiencing some serious excitement because it's a totally new atmosphere. You're experiencing some fear because it's a totally new atmosphere. And maybe even a little anxiety because new classes, new lunch schedule. But it's also very exciting, of course, because you have 5 periods before lunch now. And you don't have to deal with the 6th graders. Well, as much. But I want to make sure that you know that you have to rely on God for joy to overcome your fears and your anxiety as you enter high school. I'm going to like to read to you Psalms 94:19. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought joy to my soul. This passage is saying that despite the anxiety or stress of the world, by relying on God, joy was able to smother out the anxiety. God was able to wipe away the anxiety and fill David's heart with joy. I also like to read to you James 1:2-3. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. This passage is saying is that when you have true joy, it means God is working in you. And when you're facing trials and you rely on God and He gives you joy, it's just evidence for you to realize that God is using you and growing you through those trials. So I'd like to pass you on to Ethan now. Now I'd like to encourage you to have a great rest of your 8th grade year online and really pursue God as you enter high school. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Hi, 8th graders. My name is Ethan Whiff, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the fruit of the Spirit, peace. When I was your age, I was very concerned about the future and the uncertainty in my life, the transition from middle school to high school, and the unknown was kind of scary to me. And something I wish that I had a better understanding of, and something that I had a better grasp of at your age, that I would like to share with you guys is peace, the fruit of the Spirit, peace. And we sing it all the time in the songs. If you've went to Calvary, and you hear the fruit of the Spirit in Bible class all the time. But what does it really mean to have peace and to let God's peace overwhelm you? Christ is our peace, and He is the Prince of Peace. And we don't need to worry about anything. I mean, I didn't realize that until last summer. I went to a church camp, and I was worried about college decisions and my senior year coming up and all these things that I had to decide on. And I just felt lost, really. I didn't know where to go, what I was going to do. And after that week of just leaning on God without any outside distractions and just seeking Him, it was an overwhelming comfort. And peace is, I think, one of the most exciting fruits of the Spirit, because all you do is just lean on God. You just have to trust Him and know that He's got this, and that and just ask Him to fill you with His peace. And there's nothing that we have to do to earn His peace or to earn His love or any of these things. God just wants us to love Him and abide in Him. And in this season with this coronavirus, peace is a big thing that us Christians should be seeking. And when we have peace, we are a light to all those around us that don't have God's peace. And by being this light and having this peace, we are able to shine the light of Christ and impact the world through this. So I hope that God blesses you, and that you guys will just seek peace in everything. And the next time you throw up the peace sign, you got God's peace. Next, Rebecca will be talking to you. So thank you for listening to me.
Hey everybody, so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the importance of having patience as you transition into high school. So throughout my high school experience, one thing that I lacked a lot of was patience. Luckily for me, I was aware of it, but I still struggled with it almost every single day. And what I found that in the areas that I lacked the most patience was with both my teammates, classmates, and teachers, as well as different situations that I was in or maybe put in. So with other people, I would get very frustrated when they weren't maybe moving as fast as I would like them to, or contributing enough to the group, or not doing it as the way I thought they should. And what I realized that when I was getting frustrated, it was all out of selfish ambition, and it was always about me. And one thing that I realized after reading a lot in the Bible was that patience really goes hand in hand with humility. So when I stopped with just a lot of self-seeking, I was able to view others with more respect and how God views them, and I was able to have more patience with them. And throughout my senior year, I really strived to work at it, and just being slow to anger and slow to speech, and just taking one step at a time. Or with teachers, if they gave me a lot of homework, I just would take a deep breath and work at it one step at a time. And then with situations, when I was first in freshman year, I was already frustrated that I had to go 4 more years of high school. I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. It was awful. I just was not looking forward to it. And I think I had a pretty negative view of high school in general. And coming up to my senior year, I really regret not appreciating the times that I had. And I was always just frustrated with being at school, and I was never patient with the whole experience and process of learning. And now I regret not having patience throughout this time, but I am now thankful that I can change that. So one tip that I would give you guys would be just be patient for where you are and where you've been put in, and just know that God has a plan and He's going to work it out for the better. Thank you all for listening. I will now let Payton speak.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everybody. The fruit of the Spirit that I will be talking to you guys about is goodness. Now, goodness is a little bit of an overlooked fruit of the Spirit, in my opinion. When you think of the fruits of the Spirit, you probably do not think about goodness right away. You're probably thinking about love or joy or self-control, some of the more popular ones. But that does not diminish the importance of goodness at all. The Oxford Dictionary definition says that goodness is the quality of being morally good or virtuous. And as Christians, our morals come from the Bible. So goodness means that goodness in our situation means the quality of living a biblically good and virtuous life. Goodness involves putting others' needs and feelings above our own and treating others the way we'd want to be treated, which is the golden rule. You probably have heard that before. In Mark, Jesus is specifically seen as a servant. He definitely plays out that servanthood throughout his entire life that we see in the Gospels. And he has called us to live in the same style that he has with that servanthood. We are called to, again, treat others the way that we want to be treated and hold their lives just as important as our own. Now, goodness definitely has applied to my high school life. I've realized the importance of putting others' feelings above my own. And life is not all about me. Life's not all about you. It's about, first of all, it's about God and how we can live for Him. But in response to that, we treat others the way we would want to be treated and put others' lives as just as important as our own. Goodness also goes very well along with self-awareness. Self-awareness would be whenever you're walking down the hallway and you see somebody that looks kind of sad. They might just have their head down running through the hallways or cramming through people, and they just really don't want to talk to anybody. Self-awareness also might be in class when you notice that a couple other students or maybe one specific student is just doesn't look themselves. So that's self-awareness, and goodness is acting upon that self-awareness. Goodness is going up to them and saying, hey, what's wrong? Can I help you in any way? Are you doing okay? Is there anything I can pray for you about? That's what goodness is. And throughout high school, I've had a couple different instances where I have been able to act with goodness and just ask different people that look kind of sad or lonely if they're all right. Is there anything that I can do for you? Can I pray for you? And it always ends up going very well. Many times that they're able to say something to get off their shoulders, or to get something off their shoulders, they're able to say something that really kind of relieves them. I'm able to pray for them, and overall it ends up feeling much better. And me personally, I feel good about helping other people. So I encourage you guys to not only be self-aware and notice those around you that are maybe struggling with something, but also act in a spirit of goodness and ask them how they are, ask them how they're doing, and just overall be that servant that Jesus shows us in His life. And now Julianna is going to talk to you guys about self-control.
Guys, I'm Julianna, and today I'll be talking about self-control. The definition of self-control is the ability to control oneself, particularly when it comes to emotions and desires and the expression of those. So that means that instead of just saying or doing whatever you want on impulse, it means to think before you say or do anything and then act. God asks us to exercise self-control in our lives, and there are two specific areas that the Bible tells us that we should have self-control in: speech and temptation. First, we'll talk about speech. It is very important to control what you say. Proverbs 21:23 says, "Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity." That means that whatever you say has the ability to keep you from disaster. What you say can either make the situation better or worse. So next time when somebody says something that really annoys you, don't say something mean back to them, or don't say anything all to them, because trust me, controlling what you say will really help you better in the future. Now, we'll look at temptation. You probably already know that temptation is the urge to do something that you know is wrong. So you have to use self-control to fight that urge and resist the temptation to do that wrong thing. God will help you with this. To paraphrase 1 Corinthians 10:13, like, God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear, and He'll allow you and He'll make for you a way out of that temptation. So next time you feel tempted to do something you know is wrong, like, for example, say lie so that you don't get yourself in trouble, ask God to help you and find that way out of temptation to do the right thing. Which brings me to my last point about self-control. You have to ask God for help in order to control yourself. Without Him, you can do nothing by yourself. Trust me, I know. I still have to ask God for help when it comes to controlling myself, when it comes to talking to others and being tempted to do wrong things. And don't be afraid to ask Him for help. He's always there for you, and He never fails you. To summarize what I've talked about today with self-control, I'll quote the verse James 4:7. Submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And now we'll go to Jacob McIntyre with the conclusion.
Hey guys, Jacob again. And I'd like to just wrap up our little video here. As you know, we presented several of the fruit of the Spirit. And all of us seniors would like to encourage you to stay strong and make sure to focus on God as you enter high school. I want you guys to know that we are all praying for you. And if you guys ever need us, you can always contact us. We may be graduating, but we're not going anywhere. Well, too far. Finish strong, don't give up, and enjoy the rest of your break.